The number one reason for people going out of business, entrepreneurs, small businesses going out of business in 2020, was not cash flow. Rather, it was new people coming to the market with something that the market did not need. So potentially they'd had a brilliant idea, thought, yeah, I'm just going to do that, but they hadn't actually done their research. They hadn't done a needs analysis of what people would actually buy. So in this video, I want to go through a few of the absolute basics so that you can check them off, so that you stay in business 2021, 2022 and beyond. Now, if we haven't met before, my name is Gwyneth and I specialize in working with fabulous women entrepreneurs just like you to acknowledge and charge what you are worth, to help you bundle up your expertise into services so that you are nailing your niche, nailing your brand, and also to look at the business processes and systems you have in place to ensure that you are getting that financial freedom, that time freedom, whatever it was that you first signed up for. So as I said, the major reason for people going out of business in the past 12 to 14 months hasn't been a cash flow issue, which I was bowled over when I read that. I couldn't quite believe the research, but it then kind of made sense that a lot of people do say, oh, I've got a great idea, and they go all for it, and then it just flops. So number one, if you are going into business, or if you're potentially thinking about what you could be doing differently in the next couple of years, remember that solving other people's problems is the best basis for building a business. You know, the things that other people say to you, wow, you can do that so brilliantly, and could you help me? And for you it's just so easy that maybe you don't even notice that you're solving other people's problems. That's what you need to focus on. And when you can kind of conceive that into a business idea, that's a very, very strong base from where you can then grow and scale. And I'm going to use the analogy of an acorn growing into an oak tree, as many people do, because when I talk about growing and scaling, number two, the second thing you need to be mindful of is, where do you actually want your business to go? It's not very useful for you to say, well, let's just give it a go and see what happens, because your lovely brain likes clarity, it likes direction, it wants instructions, it wants a step-by-step process, and you just saying, yeah, whatever, you know, I just see what comes back, is not a great, it doesn't help you in any way to actually achieve the results. So focus. Where do you want to be in 1 year? Where do you want to be in 2 years or 5 years? Business plans. A lot of people shy away from them. They say, oh, I don't want any money from the bank, so I'm not going to bother putting together a business plan. But actually just having that format on a piece of paper with some numbers on it can be a huge help, like I said, to what is actually happening in here, and keep you on track, keep you focused. That little acorn, there's not a little tree in there. It knows what it has to do. It's the DNA, it's the essence, it's the passion, it's the soul, it's the love, it's the heart, whatever you want to call it. That acorn knows it has to grow into an oak tree. When you have your business idea, you need to know how it is going to grow. What do you want it to grow into? So that's number two. Number three, keep the weeds away. That's what I've written down. Keep the weeds away. And by this, I mean, again, this has to do with clarity. This has to be you being 100% clear on who you are selling to, what exactly is your niche, and not allowing yourself to be, you know, when other people come to you and say, oh, I've got a great idea, and do you do this? And why don't you do this? All of us in business know what it's like. We, to some extent, we're all people pleasers. We all have to pay the bills. We all want to make money. And sometimes if things do get a bit tough, it can be very tempting to say, yes, of course I'll do that. And you sit there thinking, oh, I don't know how on earth I'm going to do that. Why on earth did I say yes? Keep the weeds away. Keep things very, very clear, what your business idea is, what the problem is that you solve, and focus on that 100%. And number four, when you are, you know, whenever you plant something, if the shoots aren't showing as quickly as you would like them to, don't be tempted to unpick everything and just see if you could be doing something differently, because usually, you know, it's consistency. Business in itself is not rocket science. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to be wildly innovative in how you do your business. Get yourself a coach, get, you know, read some books or whatever. The how to already exists. What you need to do is consistency. The acorn knows what to do. You digging up the roots and looking and could I be doing something differently? That is not going to help the acorn at all. In actual fact, you'll probably end up killing the tree if you do that too often. So those are 4 things that, you know, the very basics of a checklist. Regardless of where you are in business already or thinking about going into business. And I've also made a couple of notes about the opportunities that I see for small businesses entrepreneurs in 2021 and 2022. So first of all, think about where you are selling. You know, you have your audience, you have your niche, but the fact that so many of us are now working remotely, working from home still, this means that you can sell your services, potentially your products, anywhere in the world. That cross-border boundary or whatever, or potentially cross-border restrictions, to a large extent, they've completely gone. And it is perfectly acceptable from me here working in Austria to work with somebody in Australia or Africa or America. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is that we can arrange to be online at the same time. So think about the opportunities that you might have from a cross-border perspective. Something else that I believe is going to be very interesting for a lot of solopreneurs, particularly those in kind of the marketing, the graphics business, writing copy, all of these types of things. A lot of small businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs are already using external people for accounting or a virtual assistant. And I think that's actually going to very much grow. But rather than me having to go to 5 different people for my accounts, for a VA, for a graphics designer, for a copywriter, and all of the things, despite the fact that we have got, you know, very large websites where you can go and find these individuals, I think that actually there's a huge opportunity for solopreneurs to come together under one umbrella to become a sort of a one-stop shop for other small business owners. So they're not losing their branding, they're not losing their income in any shape or form, but they are working, if you like, as a cooperative to make things easier so that I don't have to scroll through pages and pages of people deciding on who it is I want to work with on one of these huge sites where they do have hundreds. And by the way, those things are absolutely fantastic. It's just that I think that trust is going to be a big issue, and that emotional connection with the people we work with is going to be very, very, even more important as we go forward. So, like I said, I see a big opportunity there. What else have I got? Subscription-based subscriptions are becoming more and more popular, and I always think of Amazon and how it started off with Prime, and in between times you can get a subscription on your groceries. And when I order my dog food, you know, would you like a subscription? Books, all sorts of things, with services as well, you know, offering somebody 12 months for the price of 10. All of these types of things, those subscriptions are very, very popular because they allow people to have more control over you know, how much they're spending every month. So think about those things. And very, very briefly now, just at the end, on talking about online presence. I'm not going to understand what Google is trying to do. I'm not a tech whiz by any means. But one thing is clear, that you need an online presence. That's absolutely clear. You might not have a huge web page. Even if you've just got one page, the most important thing is it loads quickly, because the number of people purchasing from their phones is increasing. Now it's almost half of all purchases are done, products and services are done on a mobile phone. And if your site does not load fast enough, you are potentially losing business. So I know, yeah, those are very basic things, but like I said, if you've been in business a while, I think it's important now and again to have a review, particularly if you have kept your head above water in these very, very challenging times, and to just check in with yourself. Am I still solving that problem for those people? Do I know where I want my business to be in a year or 2 years? Do I still know who I'm serving? Has potentially my audience, my niche, has it developed? Has it changed in any way? Not listening to what other people, you know, you can take the advice of other people by all means, but at the end of the day, it's your business, and you need to keep that laser-like focus on building, on being that successful business person so that you get to where you want to be. I get so excited about this stuff. You know what, if you're still in business, hat off to you. Brilliant. Well done. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay fabulous. Loads of love, and bye for now.